Hi, I'm Chris Greco, CEO of Storewise. I had the pleasure of interviewing Nikki Carver. Nikki is the president and CEO of Super C Stores. They're an eight-store group based in Oklahoma, and I really enjoyed speaking with her. Nikki took over for her father recently, and she gives us some important insights, shares a lot of personal reflection, which I think is important for any independent grocer to hear and see. But I think in the next 10 minutes, you'll really enjoy, as much as I did, her perspectives on running Super C and really defending her territory against Walmart, which owns about 70% of the Oklahoma market. So without further ado, here's the interview. Well, good day, everybody. I'm here with Nikki Carver. Nikki is the relatively, I shouldn't say new, but the president and CEO of Super C. And Nikki, why don't you take a few minutes and kind of give your background and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Nikki. Like you said, I'm a third generation to lead my family's grocery business. My family started back in 1959 in Oklahoma, in Aaron Springs with their first store, and that was my grandparents.
So are you you're third generation?
Yes, correct. So I'm third generation. My dad was a second generation leader. We lost him, unfortunately, very quickly to cancer in 2020, right as COVID hit. So that is when my position changed within the company. I originally came home to work for my dad and alongside my dad in 2010. So I've been here. I'd been here and worked with him up till 2020. Had more of a financial role in the business, running the bookkeeping, et cetera, some human resources, payroll, things like that. And then when my dad passed, I had to step up in his shoes and also figure out how to continue the business with all the COVID hitting us at the same time, rolling out curbside in our stores, et cetera, so that we could service our communities. And that's where we're at today. 2 years later, still struggling with COVID.
Wow. How many, let me add, the number of stores that Super C has?
We have 8 locations, and they're all in rural towns here in Oklahoma. My corporate office is in Noble.
Okay. And your journey, did you expect to be sitting in the seat? So let's go back 10 years ago. Did you expect to be sitting in the seat you're in today?
So yes, I did. I came home. I graduated from Arizona State. My dad always really wanted me to find my own and do what my goal, what my passion was in life. And, honestly, we never talked about me working at Super C up until maybe a year before I came home, maybe 2009. We started speaking about it, and I was in Atlanta at the time. And he was in a situation of need. He had some health issues going on with our CPA. And so I came home, and that was my first huge project, was to tackle our financials. And that's really how I learned about the business from the beginning.
Well, that's a great way to come into the business. No?
It was hard though. It was definitely very, very tough. He had been our internal CPA for my whole life. So it was very difficult. But in that struggle through those years, I was able to learn a huge amount, which definitely helped me to this day.
Good. Well, what did you learn from your father about running an independent grocery chain?
But what I learned from him most is building the team around you, making those that are on your team feel important and valued, was something I learned from him, watching him every day. And something I remind myself, of its importance. I watched him do it, and it was effortless for him, but it's something I remind myself that's very important, to keep the people around you strong, build them up, not pull them down, and be the kind of leader that he was.
Wow. Now the market
in Oklahoma is very competitive because Walmart has a big chunk of the market share, like over 60, 70%.
Right.
So,
right.
so tell me about how have you been able to compete against them?
Well, it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game. They're always on always on the, you're always on the aggressive front. We've dealt with them moving, within a mile or two from us and
Wow.
building, huge, where I am right now, our corporate office, they built a huge super center, a mile up the street. And so,
Wow.
You see it happen and we hate for it to happen because we feel like they, are taking advantage of some of these rural towns. And if they put, the independents out, then the choice for the customer becomes, they don't have any choices anymore. And Walmart really, has control over everything at that point. And so we hate to see that happen. We've yet to be shut down by a Walmart. And I think that shows that what we're doing is keeping our loyal customers. Although you lose a huge chunk at first, they do come back because they like the customer service that we give them. They like the personable employees that we have. They like that if they can't get something or if they don't see something on our shelves, we order it for them. And so I think just sticking in there and, being competitive where we need to be, but also just differentiating ourselves from Walmart is how we stay in this business, doing our fresh meat and our fresh produce the best we can, I think is our biggest differentiating factor, along with our customer service, our full service customer service. We still, take your groceries out, bag them up and take them out for you to your car, for example. Yes. Yeah. When I came home, we were still wearing ties. Every single employee was wearing, full tie. So we are very, very old school, but that's something that our customers really love to see us still doing.
Yeah, it'd make me shop there for sure. Any, since taking over the helm, any big surprises?
I don't think that there were any huge surprises. I think that the biggest, working the last 10 years, before the, last two, I was able to kind of open my eyes to a lot of things. But, I think the one thing that still shocks me is that embracing change is not something that the grocery industry and the employees that have been in the grocery industry their entire life, they're not, they don't like change, and it takes them a while to come around and see the positivity that can be behind change. And I think that is one thing that I can be helpful with, because it's something that is really a priority to me, to continue to change and evolve with time so that we continue to be here, where a lot of our management is really, they've dealt with too much change and they're just done with it. They just want to do what they know what to do, what they know how to do, and they want to do it well, and they don't want to change. But we live in a world that changes every day. And so I think that's the biggest surprise to me still, that people can't get on board with that sometimes.
Yeah. And change is, I think that's for any industry, right? Where people just, struggle with it. And we see that, Storewise, we see that with technology, right? Where somebody's using like Microsoft Excel for the past 15 years. And now we have this new piece of software, and they're like, well, just because you trust it doesn't mean, this Microsoft Excel has been my best friend for the past 15 years.
Right.
And
you have to get the buy-in.
Yeah, exactly. So that it just takes time, and as building trust matters.
Right.
So if a family member, like maybe your son or daughter, wanted to come into the business, what single piece of advice would you give them?
Go work somewhere else first. Not that, selling green beans can't be fun, but I think it's really important for any individual that thinks about getting into family business or running a business or becoming a CEO of, I think that working in other industries and working for other people is really important. I think you can learn a lot and appreciate a lot more what you have if you go out and seek other opportunities before coming home, kind of situation, like my experience.
Yeah. So you think that So your dad pushed you to go out on your own before coming back in.
Yes, exactly.
What do you,
along with that?
What do you think? That's great. What do you think you might be seeing differently than if you just came in straight in, like after, high school or college into the business?
I think that there's a lot of growing up as well personally that happens during those years. But I think my appreciation for my employees wouldn't be as strong.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as evident and obvious to me, all the hard work that they put in if I hadn't done my own hard work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. And is there anything else that, we'll probably have, grocers are listening to this, fellow independent grocers, anything else that you'd like maybe for them to know?
Hang in there. I know, times are hard right now. This is the hardest period of time that we've all been in to date, with COVID and outs and allocations and being able to get items. And, we just have to hang in there. At the beginning of this all, everybody was cheering the grocery industry and especially the independents because we were able to have everything on the shelf still. People are forgetting that appreciation. And so I would just like to say to everybody, hang in there. We're going to get through it. And I really feel like, with our co-ops and things like that, if we stick together, we can, move forward and be successful together.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great message. That's Nikki Carver, President and CEO of Super C. I'm Christopher Greco, President and CEO of Storewise. Nikki, thank you so much for your time today. I know that everyone listening has gotten more than just one good piece of advice from it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to, next time in Oklahoma, seeing you and coming to visit your stores.
Absolutely. Anytime. Come visit us.